turned this bowl out of some really green walnut wood back in July of 2015. Only a few months ago. It hasn't really been that long, but I think it's dry enough now. It's got its initial warping out of the way, so I think if I finish turning it right now, it's not going to warp a whole ton more, because it's already warped a fair bit, not a whole ton. The end grain is kind of peaked in this one spot right there, and kind of the same thing on the other side, but it's still a pretty neat circle, so I don't think it's going to warp a whole ton anymore. This bowl actually does have this one really weird looking knot right here, so it's going to be very interesting because the grain sort of is really curly around that knot, so I'm pretty curious to see how this is going to look. And it also has a bit of this weird blackish and purplish mold on the bottom here. Shame that's on the bottom. You kind of get hidden, but I hope that will stay through deep enough. Alright, so I'll be showing you guys how I'm going to finish turn this, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I have a jam chuck in here, just a waste block that's kind of rounded over a little bit. And I have this stuff. I don't know what this stuff is called. It's a very sticky, kind of squishy foam stuff. It goes on the bottoms of drawers and shelves, so this is fantastic. And is also my preferred method of remounting a bowl. So really will grip the bowl when it's up against a jam chuck. So I'll just bring up my tailstock. Lock that down a little bit. Put on a little bit of pressure on this thing. You really want a lot of pressure on this thing just to keep it in place. Okay. Hopefully we're not going too fast. Okay, and you can see we have warped just a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead with my 5/8 inch bowl gouge and true up the tenon. Important, that's very important that your tenon is nice and true. And I'm also going to shape the outside of it while it's like this, because I can get to the back side very easily. So face shield, respirator on. Here we go. Shape. I don't really have enough wall thickness to get the kind of a curve I want, but I'm good with this. It's not bad. It's a little straighter than I like it here. I like it if this curve can kind of be extended in this way a little more, or can flare out a little more, but I don't have a lot of wall thickness to play with. So there's a few more high spots around here and here that I'm just going to knock down real quick, and after that I'll go ahead and take a skew or a parting tool or something and true up that tenon. Got a small skew here. I just went ahead and taken my jam chuck out, and the bowl I'm just going to put into my chuck now. Tighten it down as much as I can on the one side, and on the other side of the chuck you can always get just a little bit more, so keep that in mind. Make sure I'm not going to hit anything. Off by just a little bit in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and try to see if I can't work that out. proven to be a bit of a challenge cutting that. It's kind of tricky. So, I tell you what I'm going to do. Going to give it a little shot of air power. Should clean it out a little bit. And in this jar is the solution to all of my problems, along with thin CA glue and accelerator. So, inside this jar are some finely ground coffee grounds, okay? And I always just take these whenever I need to fill something like this, pack the coffee grounds in there a little bit. Okay, now the thin CA glue. I'm just going to take this and soak this in it. Really, in fact, I'm just going to grab a bit of paper towel here, just so none drips onto the lathe. Just start at the top, and let it just really soak its way in there. I'm actually not going to spray activator or anything on this just yet. I'm going to let this soak in as much as it can. And before I start turning again, maybe in 15 minutes, I'll give it a quick spray just to make sure it's completely hardened up. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and continue turning.
And this is where all of my real trouble started to begin. As I was trying to work on the inside, it came out of the chuck several times and just started to get misaligned, and I tried to retighten the chuck back on so that it would be centered up, but whatever I did, I couldn't manage to get it running true. You can see here just how out of round the lip became. And then, this happened.
What the heck? Ah, shoot! The stinking tenon just broke! Oh! Oh my god! Oh! Is just get some more of that squishy stuff and just re-jam chuck. Oh, shoot. God dang it. Well, that's not gonna work. I don't have a center.
Alright, now I'm going to try to better explain why the tenon broke and what I did after that to realign it and re-true it up. And to keep you guys entertained, I'll be showing you guys a slideshow of goats. So the tenon broke because there was a lot of spalting and mold down by the tenon like I showed earlier in the video. And once it broke, I realized that I couldn't just re-jam chuck it and turn a new tenon because I didn't have a center hole. So I spent a really long time trying to reorient the whole piece on the jam chuck so it was as centered as possible. And once I got it somewhat close, I ended up carving out a new tenon, and I also had to reshape the entire outside just to eliminate any little bit of wobble that was there. Now once I had the new tenon, I flipped it back around, put it into my chuck, and started to work on getting the wall thickness nice and even and getting it smooth and ready for sanding. Now I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to the point where I'm ready to start sanding and everything just to save you guys the trouble of watching me try to recarve it.
Up at the very lip, it's a lot thinner, or not a lot thinner even, it's hardly an 1/8 inch, maybe a 1/16 of an inch thinner, just a little bit so I can just wobble it, the set of calipers here. It's thinner at the lip, so that's okay, because this is a flared out lip, so I don't think that's critical. And I am getting pretty thin here. I'll show you what my final wall thickness is. Alright, I just went ahead and measured the wall thickness towards the middle. It's about the same all the way around. Just go ahead and put this up against a ruler. And if I go end to end, I am at exactly 1/4 of an inch. So that's a 1/4 inch wall thickness, which is nice. It feels thin, but it's not really that thin when you think about it, but it gives it a nice sort of a feel to it. It's not like paper thin, but it's not kind of beefy, so I'm pretty happy with this. We'll go ahead and start sanding. Okay, now I just finished sanding up to 600 grit. That chuck is really on there. There we go. And now I'm just going to go ahead and reverse mount this so that I can turn off the foot and put a little detail on it. And when it's being remounted to finish the foot off, I always double up on the layer of that foamy stuff on the inside, just so that it doesn't damage the inside of the bowl. Sometimes we'll get a weird little ring in the inside from the jam chuck, so I double it up.
That's finished product. It was 3 coats spray lacquer, the quick scuff before the final coat, just smoothing everything out. This came out absolutely tremendous. I'm actually really pleased with the final result on this. It's kind of shaky there in the beginning, but it really did come out. I have a bit of spalting in here. That's very nice. That knot kind of adds to it. Very pretty. I have a 1/4 inch wall thickness that's nice and even all the way around. And there's my signature on the bottom there. And I think it came out really nice. This is actually going to be in an auction for the Play Place for Autistic Children that my friend Bob is doing. So Bob, here you go. I hope it raises some money towards the cause, and hope you like it, and it goes to a good owner. Please leave a comment below. That'd be great. I try to respond to every one of them. I really do appreciate it if you take the time to do that. And please like and share this video, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next week.